Hi guys, so today we will learn polyfills. You know bind function already, and bind are same as call and apply, but only difference is in bind function it return new function that we can call later instead of immediately call the function. So in case of your browser fallback or your browser doesn't support bind function and you have to write your own bind function, in that case the polyfills concept come. So today we will write polyfills for bind step by step and understand how JavaScript actually work under the hood. So for definition, you can learn a polyfill is a custom implementation of a feature that already exists in JavaScript. Let's understand with practical example. Let's we have one object. Let's we have one object person1, and it has two properties: first name, alias, and we have one function create person. It's taking one argument city and returning it consoling. So we are using formatted string. This is the this dot name and is from this city. Now we are calling bind method on this function. So let create function1. We are calling bind on this. So this dot bind, you know very well, and inside this function we are giving person1 as a reference of this p. Okay, person1 person1. Okay. Now we are calling get function1. Okay, person1 and no, it's okay. So this person1, this object inside this person1 function is referring to this. Okay, and we are passing second argument California. So now you can see the proper output, and now with we are also using one more argument and consoling here country. Now right now is undefined. Now USA. Now you can see proper output using bind function. Now if we want to make another function like bind function which behave same as a bind, so what we will do, let's make another function and which that function have same behavior as a bind. So we are doing same things. Okay, person2 and we are giving it my bind and person2. Okay, let function my bind now what this function is doing, bind function is doing, is returning this function, and we are calling this function. When we are invoking this one, then this person is calling. So what is doing, this bind is returning this function. So now we are return function, we are returning a what. Now first thing we have done, then bind method is returning a new function, we are also returning. Okay, and second thing, we want to use this my bind in every function, and it should be property of every function. So what we can do, for this we need to put this thing in prototype so that we can use everywhere. So let's do function dot prototype dot my bind. So what it will do, this function will available for every function. And okay, now next thing, so inside this function, inside this bind function, we are calling this function. So how we can call this function inside this one? So we are using my bind on greet function. So everything inside my bind, everything inside my bind just like this will refer to this. Just so how we can call this function inside my bind? So see, this dot call, simply we can call like this, and this will refer to this one because we are calling my bind on this function. So let's assume we are storing let object, let we can use let p, we are storing this, and we are calling this one. Now next thing coming in mind is how we can pass this person one inside this one. So what this thing returning this function, and this is this greet function. So how we can pass person one object inside one? So all are these things we can take from here as a using destructuring, argument args1. Okay, so what it will do, it will give array of person 1, California and USA, and we can pass this argument, this one person 1 in here. So how we can give args1. Okay, so now you can see is referring person 1 correctly as this object, but second thing is the California and USA. So we are not passing here because we are only passing person 1 here. So how we can pass these things? So when we do destructuring, so these things come in array, and we are passing here call, and inside call we can't pass array. So we can simply use apply and pass array args1 dot slice with args1 dot slice. It will give all the array after first element in array. Now it's okay, our function is working. Now let's there is one more scenario that this is working now, and you have to keep in mind that this is not complete function right now, because see, if we pass this USA here, so in bind function we are getting correct, but inside if we pass this USA in here, we are not getting correct output, because here we are getting only California. So this USA coming from here means we are not passing any parameter during returning. So this function return new function which is like this, and we are not passing anything here, so we need to pass here also. So we are also destructuring args 2, and how this is all the parameters we are passing here, and just like we can also pass all the parameters here. So how we can include this args2 inside here? So we can make like this. I think this is correct. Okay, so now it's perfect. I hope you can understand. And this is the complete function by bind, and we made it. One question come in mind that what method we should use, or method which is already defined bind, or this method that we made right now. So answer is real bind, because real bind has one more advanced behavior. When a bound function is used with new, the original this binding is ignored. Listen, when we use it with new, then this binding is ignored. So wait a second, I will explain that thing also. New has high priority then bind, because when we use new, JavaScript do three things. So it create a brand new empty object and set this to that object and link it to the constructor prototype. Let's understand. We have person1 name, and we have this, and what is doing this. And we are using bind1. So in this case, if we do console dot log, let be equal to new, and giving John, and if we do p dot name, what it will give? Yeah, what? Just remove all the things here. Okay, so what it's doing, it giving the name of John. So it's not taking this object. And if we do console dot log person1 dot name, so now we have Alice. So these things doesn't work in this on made my bind function. I think you can understand what I'm telling. Hope you like this video, and thanks.